करते हैं, कैसे देखे सर आपने नंबर्स, क्या क्या हेल्प आती हुई दिखी है नंबर्स में?
So I think it was an all-round growth when you look at the numbers for us. So for example, quarter one for Icici Lombard, the growth was about 28%. The industry growth was about 23. Within that, if I were to split across the key segments where we operate at, motor, I think if you look at what we have been talking through is to largely, I mean, last year we obviously wanted to be a bit more cautious given the level of competitive intensity, which was significantly heightened. And what we had indicated to the market is on an aggregate basis, insofar as motor is concerned, we will be largely in line with the industry growth, which is why if you see for the quarter one, our growth has been about 27%. Industry has also grown at about 27%. But within motor, I think different segments have exhibited different levels of growth. But broadly, I think we wanted to grow in line with the market. If you look at health, I think that's been a segment which has been an area of focus over the last, I would say, 2-3 years. It has gained a lot more importance, which is why now when you look at it from an Icici Lombard standpoint, health insurance has always been an area of priority. The growth for us on an aggregate basis has been at about 33% for this quarter. When you look at the overall industry growth in health, that's been about 20-21%, contributed by growth in both corporate health as well as retail health as well, an area where we are significantly investing in distribution. Even commercial lines, I think, which comprises of the rest of the segments in terms of fire, liability, engineering, marine, and so on and so forth, that again has done reasonably well for us, given the resurgence of economic activities that is back to normal. So as and when you see more economic activities coming back, clearly the need for insurances in the commercial space also tends to kind of go up. So it's an all-round performance, whether you look at the growth coming in from the key segments of motor, health, and commercial lines of businesses.
सर दूसरा देखें तो सॉल्वेंसी रेशियो अगर हम देखें तो ईयर ऑन ईयर बेसिस पे एक फ्लैट रहा है, लेकिन क्वार्टर ऑन क्वार्टर बेसिस पे देखें तो एक इंक्रीज देखने को मिला है, एक राइज देखने को मिला है. क्या रीजंस रहे हैं?
So solvency for us, I think as from an Icici Lombard standpoint, I think our fundamental philosophy has been that we wanted to be kind of sufficiently capitalized at all times, so that in the event of, and that's a business that we are in. I mean, we are in the business of risk taking, and therefore our solvency should be able to take care of any uncertainties of risk that the company may be exposed to. If you look at the regulatory minimum, the regulator mandates maintaining a minimum solvency of 1.5 times. Against that, as you rightly mentioned, for us, the solvency at June 30 is at about 2.61, which is up from 2.46 that we had seen towards end of March. The only thing to look out for, I think, as I said, last couple of years, we have seen also elevated levels of claims, largely resulting in from COVID impact, which also had some impact insofar as the solvency numbers are concerned. Now with COVID behind us, hopefully, I think things should kind of look up. And therefore, from a solvency standpoint, I think we will continue to be well capitalized. What we will use this solvency for is obviously to kind of capitalize the opportunity for growth. Because if you look at, for example, the quarter one market share for us, we are at about 9.9% after the integration of Bharti AXA into Icici Lombard. So there is a lot of space that's available to grow the book across different segments, and that's what we want to kind of largely use the solvency for. But fundamentally, as a philosophy, we will want to be sufficiently capitalized at all times. That's the Icici Lombard's philosophy.
ठीक है सर. अब हमारा जो बिजनेस मिक्स है उसमें मेजर कंट्रीब्यूशन हम देख रहे हैं कि हेल्थ, ट्रैवल, पीए उनसे आता है. अभी यहाँ से आगे कोई बड़ा चेंज आता हुआ देख रहे हैं या ऐसे ही ट्रेंड लाइन हमें फॉलो करना चाहिए आगे के लिए?
As I said, I think health insurance is an area of opportunity. Particularly, let's talk of retail. For example, I think that's an area which I was kind of alluding to, where we have been kind of investing in expanding distribution. So, for example, as we speak, as at June 30, we have close to almost about 1,100 people on the health retail space, which includes new hirings that we have been doing over the last almost 9 to 12 month kind of time period. And that's an area where we will continue to invest. And one of the propositions which we have been significantly expanding on the retail health space is the use of the IL Take Care app. Now, that's a value proposition which will kind of pretty much take care of every need that a customer has insofar as meeting his or her healthcare needs are concerned. Now, that app, since the time we launched the pilot almost about a couple of years back, has seen a great amount of traction. And as we speak for Icici Lombard, the IL Take Care app downloads are almost more than 1.7 million downloads as we speak. And within this quarter alone, we had seen almost a download of 400,000 customers who have downloaded the app. So that's kind of doing well. So that the whole thought process is how we can significantly embark on our initiative of preventive and wellness of customers, which from an which from a health insurance standpoint, the hypothesis is possibly that will lead to reduction in the number of hospitalizations.
जी सर, साथ में यू हैव एडेड आपने क्रॉप इंश्योरेंस का एक नया वर्टिकल ऐड किया है. आप कैसे देख रहे हैं, कैसे ये वर्टिकल ग्रो कर सकता है?
So if you look at the thought process of writing crop fundamentally, which we have articulated even before, I think from an Icici Lombard standpoint, we do tend to look at a lot of filters when it comes to underwriting the risk itself in the first place. And given the fact that unlike motor or health, which are small ticket policies, crop insurance inherently is a high exposure segment. And therefore, you need to also have appropriate reinsurance protection in place. So we do look at what terms of reinsurance are available in the market. And the third and the most important thing is also with respect to how the claim service experience has been insofar as assessment of losses are concerned. And if you look at the contribution of crop insurance, whatever you get to see right now for us, a large part of it is something that we inherited consequent to the integration that we did of Bharti AXA into Icici Lombard, which is why, as a part of the contours of the scheme, which is the crop insurance scheme, since 2021, any crop insurance underwriting that is done, that has to be honored for a 3-year period, which is what we are kind of honoring as a part of the integration of Bharti AXA into Icici Lombard. So Bharti AXA had some exposure to crop, which we are kind of honoring. So this will be the 3rd year of that particular scheme.
ठीक है सर, और एक आखिरी सवाल आपसे पूछना चाहेंगे. हम जान रहे हैं कि IRDAI अभी हाल ही में बहुत एक्टिव हो रहा है इन टर्म्स ऑफ चेंजेस देखिए या फिर एडिशंस देखिए नए रेगुलेशंस के. हमारे कारोबार पर आने वाले वक्त में कोई बड़ा चेंज या कोई प्रोसेस में चेंज आता हुआ आप देख रहे हैं, बिजनेस में कोई इम्पैक्ट आता हुआ देख रहे हैं इस सारे चेंजेस से?
I think that's a great question. I think fundamentally when you look at the new chairman, I think he has been significantly advocating increasing in insurance penetration in general. And within that, I think 3 or 4 things which has been publicly put out is, I think clearly from a regulatory standpoint, they are significantly embarking on the development agenda of the regulator, which is a great positive, which will kind of aid insurance penetration. And in that regard, I think some of the key changes what they have brought about is significantly they are focusing on easing of doing business for companies. So in that regard, I think a lot of compliance-led returns is something which the regulator had looked at, and they have kind of significantly eased some of the compliance burdens. On the product side, for example, I think in the past, we had to kind of go back to the regulator, get the necessary approvals, and only then we were able to kind of launch products, which was under the what we call technically under the file and use mechanism. The regulator has significantly kind of eased that and moved the entire product filing process into a use and file approach, which effectively means insurance companies can, within their defined governance norms, launch products and kind of go ahead with distribution of insurance products. So that's a great positive insofar as doing business is concerned, without having to kind of wait for a period of time to get the necessary regulatory approvals. So that's again has been one of the asks which the insurance industry has been asking for, and the regulator has rightly responded on that. And pretty much every product that you speak as of now has been moved into the use and file mechanism. So that's a great positive change that the regulator has done.